And we're live. Hello, everyone. Yes, it's finally time. The first day of the new year. And with the new year, we gotta sometimes have an event. And as you read the title correctly, this is going to be an interesting topic, isn't it? It is time to go over the worst films we have sat through in 2024. And oh boy, it's going to be a wild one. Oh, I bet. Yeah, it really is. Time to get into the stream, and it's time to talk about some bad faith cinema.
Yep.
Oh, hello, Ethan.
Hi there.
Yeah, y'all know what this stream is going to be about, right?
Yep. Unleashing our anger on the worst films we saw this year.
Yeah, and let's wait for everyone to get in here. At least the ones we are aware of.
What up?
So, yeah, and this time,
might as well go ahead and show off what I got recently.
Go ahead.
All right, so first is a PS4 game.
All right.
Resident Evil 4.
Oh, nice.
All right, next, the Blair Witch Project.
The original, right? Not that piece of shit from 2016.
Yeah.
Good.
This is the original 1999 Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, and I might get around to watching it. It's kind of divisive, all things considered.
Just avoid the Book of Shadows.
Yeah, or the 2016 film.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one is a 4K Terrifier 3.
Oh.
That clown is messed up.
Yep.
More than Pennywise.
Even Pennywise be shitting his pants.
Yeah. All right.
All right. My bad.
Let's wait until Rex gets here because he's also here. In the meantime, I think we can do a bit of what we're going to go through with this channel for the following year. For what you can expect, for these streams, obviously new movie reviews every month, obviously. And the next thing, and another thing we're going to be doing is a bit of a new segment of TAWcast and Pals called Cartoon Podcast, where we talk about a few animated series, dedicate a few streams if you want to hear our thoughts on some certain shows.
All right.
But, yeah, because we do have a few shows on the pipeline. Currently, I'm still revisiting Friendship is Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I think it's only fair to start off on the negative note because, as we all know, we all got to end things on a good note, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, because it's usually not fun to end something negative, so we might as well start negative and end on a negative note. So I think it's safe to say. So yeah, let's do the pickled treasures.
My pickle of the show, folks, is, let's see. My pickle of the show is obviously one of, if not the worst animated films I have ever seen.
Do tell.
Hello.
I'm going to give you some. All right. My pickle of the show is obviously Norm of the North.
Oh, God.
Good God.
Everything about this movie is atrocious. The animation, for one thing. I mean, just look at this. Look at the animation in this movie. God.
It looks straight to video because it started out as a straight to video movie.
Yep.
Yeah, and it ended up getting a theatrical release.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell, like, whatever stays on DVD needs to stay on as a DVD extra.
Yep,
Definitely.
exactly. Rob Schneider as Norm himself. Don't even get me started on the voice acting either. And the message and the plot. The fucking plot. Who the fuck would want to build condos in the Arctic?
Exactly, like, who would want to live there?
Nobody would want to live in the Arctic.
Yeah, because as we all know, we'd practically be dead at this point.
Yeah. No, I don't even want to live in the Arctic. I live in Canada. And, well, it's not freezing right now, but I've seen winters. I've been for my winters here in Canada.
All right. All right. Anything else to add for Norm of the North?
Oh yeah, and the message, the environmental message. The environmental, the environmental message is shit. The villain himself, Mr. Green. God. And the ending as well. It ends with the fucking dance. It ends with a fucking dance sequence. What did you expect?
It's an animated film released in the 2010s, and of course they normalized that trend.
Yeah. So my pickle of the show is Norm of the North.
Yeah. Good.
All right. My treasure of the show. My treasure of the show is Schindler's List.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that during the summer last 2 years
I
ago.
really need to watch that.
I tried watching it.
We should check it out. It's an amazing film. Definitely one of Steven Spielberg's best movies.
Yeah, and John Williams' score is pretty good too. I mean, everything that man makes is a legend.
I mean, this movie needs no introduction.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Rob Schneider as the carrot.
Okay, my bad pick for the show. I'm gonna say Lightyear. That film was shit.
Yeah, that film was a big letdown. Like,
God.
If I wanted to see a spinoff with Buzz Lightyear, I would see.
Read what I put in.
All right, Rob Schneider is Puppy. Well, he would definitely be Poppy's. Well, who else would she have hasn't been introduced in her family tree?
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I was really disappointed with Sir.
My letterbox list with me on my phone.
Yep. And I might as well introduce some of my pickle and treasure of the show. For my pickle, of course, it couldn't be any other film. The Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
not the Emoji Movie.
Fuck this movie sucks. Hey, remember back when Sony Pictures Animation was a laughingstock of the animation community?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
Power
some.
numbers.
Yeah, this movie forever solidified a place in something, a stigma on that animation company. You know, before they redeemed themselves with the Spider-Verse films.
Yep.
That with a story that basically blatantly copies pretty much every animated film known to man.
Absolutely.
With terribly written characters, with a bland main character and one of the most obnoxious characters in the name of High Five, played by James Corden.
Fuck him.
Same here. And not to mention the movie's humor is awful with nothing but product placement, pop culture references, and just terrible attempts at comedy. That's not funny.
That's true.
I thought we were talking about the worst movies of this year.
Yeah, right now we're waiting until Rex comes in. We might as well do what we usually do.
I was doing my pickle the show before I got interrupted.
Oh, all right. But yeah, the Emoji Movie sucks, and I think we should let Wrecker have his turn.
Okay,
Sorry.
like I said before, I already said Lightyear's my pickle of the show. I was disappointed with Surg. It was like the Arkham Knight all over again. Old man Buzz. Come on.
I never watched Lightyear, and from what I
Trust me,
hear, I really don't think I'm missing much.
Trust me, you're
They're
not.
not.
Especially with the main villain. Dear God.
Yep, old man Buzz. But as for my treasure of the show, I'm gonna have to say that would be. Here, just give me a minute to collect my thoughts on this. I'm gonna say.
Are you still thinking of something?
Yeah, so
I'm
Sonic
gonna go-
2, the movie.
I'm going to use the bathroom and get something to drink. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Which film did you say?
Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Ah, yeah, one of the best sequels in recent memory.
Yes. Okay, I will admit I wouldn't call it perfect because, well, that human subplot with the bride, that was just. And let's see. And Idris Elba better film that he did in 2022, and his apology for Cats.
Yep. Idris Elba was a fantastic Knuckles, but Keanu Reeves was a better Shadow.
Oh yes.
Yep. All right. Is that all that can be said for Sonic 2?
Yes.
All right. And for my treasure, I have one of the best films of all time, Jurassic Park.
Oh yes.
One of the best Spielberg movies ever, and the movie that made me realize that dinosaurs are actually cool. I actually went to go see this movie at a drive-in screening back in 2020, and it was glorious to see that film again in theaters.
I saw it in 2013 in 3D. It was good in 3D.
Yeah, between the fantastic special effects that holds up even today, great characters with especially Ian Malcolm, and some very quotable moments. Quote a line from the movie.
Let's see. That's one big pile of shit.
Yeah, and of course, that one scene that pretty much exemplifies what Hollywood and franchise fatigue is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And
You didn't think you could on whether or not you should.
Oh, hey Ryan.
What up?
All right. I'm back.
All right. And with Jurassic Park still holds up even today. That none of the sequels could even come close to recapturing.
Exactly.
the sequels tried recapturing the magic, but they just ended up being good at best, like Jurassic World, or absolutely disappointing, like the third movie or Dominion.
So what's even the point of making sequels at all?
Money.
Yeah, money.
Ah, of course.
All right. So it's only fair that I think we've gotten what else. And of course, I do have a little bit of from my collection. I actually made this myself.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't really collect Legos anymore.
All right, let's check this meme out.
There's no sound.
Open up.
There's no sound. There's no sound.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's all right. It does work for a bit of stalling before he gets here, so that way we can all do the list on time instead of having someone else to catch up to help the rules. 2025 is going to be an interesting year, isn't it?
Yep.
It sure is. It sure is.
Hopefully
Hopefully more interesting than 2024. That's for sure.
Yeah, because 2024 has been nothing but a hellhole of a year. We all know that at this point, but we're here to move forward. All right, Chili Billion. All right, so I think it's fair to say that we've had a pretty good show right now. Things are going to be
my internet.
It's all right.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck 2024. All my homies hate 2024.
And a lot of the animated movies that came that year were just so generic with sequels constantly.
Yep. I've got my top 10 worst of 2024 as well. Good on you, Rob. It's going to be a really fun while.
Yeah, I kind of agree. This was not the best year for animation.
Yeah,
Mainly here in the
agreed.
West.
Yeah, you're going to see a handful of animated films on this list.
Like, for every Wild Robot and X-Men 97 we got, there was also stuff like Velma Season 2 and Saving Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
And the Garfield movie, too.
I hate that film.
Oh, trust me. I'll tear that movie apart when we get to my top 2. Oh, boy.
All that move my old band together. Honestly, if I see you in real life,
I think you should have let them say. I think you should have let the "I would fucking kill you" bit play out in order for the joke to be more effective.
Yeah. Because, he tried to make a death threat over someone saying negativity about trolls. But, 2024, a lot of users were terrible this year.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't worry. We will get to that one sooner on the list when we ever get to it. It's going to be a really long, trust me, this is going to be an hour, probably longer, because we're going to be talking about maybe 33 plus movies on here.
Yep.
So I think it's safe to say. All right. So I think it's safe to say we have the rules ready, and I think before we start the list properly. Oh yeah. Because we're the problem here, not the fact that they were releasing terrible movies. And like Megamind, we'll be ripping that one later.
I haven't seen it, and
Except that Universal didn't get butthurt over that.
Yeah.
At least Universal didn't get butthurt over Megamind 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God, because
Why
I wouldn't
else
support-
did they dump it on Peacock?
Megamind 2 doesn't seem like something Universal will get butthurt over because it was just a minor. It was really just a pilot for a low budget B-list TV show.
Mm-hmm.
They just dumped it on Peacock and just called it a day.
yeah. And yeah, and Sony decided to blame everyone but themselves.
Fucking idiots.
Right? Even though everybody hated it, including some of its actors, but we'll mention that later when we get to a certain film we'll be bringing up. Yeah. Thank God it's dead because, oh my God, I can't stand another more of it. We didn't even bother with Kraven the Hunter.
I saved my money for Sonic 3 and Nosferatu, and that's it.
Yeah, I saved my money for Sonic 3. And
I went to War of the Rohirrim and Baby Girl, that's it.
Yeah, I went to go see Sonic 3 instead. And I'll be saving my money for better movies like Paddington in Peru.
I saved my money on better stuff, not necessarily movies. I didn't see anything in December.
Yeah, Sonic
In fact,
3
the
is
last film I even watched in 2024 was Wicked.
and Wicked was actually good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a bit concerned about part 2 because I've seen the play, and it's kind of like Wizard of Oz fan fiction. You'll see what I mean when the trailers come out.
All right.
Yeah.
So now that we're in 2024, I think it's time to say that we might as well go over a bit of the rules first, because I think we need to establish what the rules of the list are going to be before we get to the list properly.
All right.
All right. Before we get to the list to the top 11 worst movies, we need to state a couple of rules. One, obviously, this is movies that we have seen.
I have not seen any of them, and I'm glad I didn't.
Please, thankful that you didn't. This is based on what me, Smoking Record, Ethan, and Rex have saw this year. Keep in mind, we didn't go out of our way to see every terrible movie this year. Otherwise, we'd be miserable at this point, more than we already are. Like, I didn't see movies like Mufasa, Kraven the Hunter, Megalopolis, Spellbound, Back to Black, First Shift, which is directed by Uwe Boll, God's Not Dead and God We Trust, etc. Like, there's a handful of terrible movies that came out this year that I didn't watch, either because I didn't have the motivation to watch them, or I just thought the ones on this list I actually think were worse, in my opinion. Secondly, this rule is obviously redundant, but it has to be said. Everything we say, it's just our opinion.
Exactly.
Don't be a Trolls Band Together fan.
Yeah, unlike Miss Sandra Pony or Trolls Band Together fan 2001, we know how to respect people's opinions on people who disagree with us.
Absolutely.
Remember, these lists are just for these reviews are just for fun and for your entertainment. When you see us rage, we're not obviously being serious. We're just doing it for your entertainment.
Yep.
To express how much we really did hated a film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because getting angry is funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always important that anger can be funny and it can be a bit of catharsis. Plus, it's just more funnier to rip a bad film. We know your game. Y'all know y'all love that negativity.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and finally, this list is based on how we felt about each film. So if you disagree with us, that's fine. Like you're entitled to your opinion.
Yep.
And remember that if we had waited to watch every terrible movie this year, this list wouldn't have even come out until 2026. And I don't think you want to wait that long, right?
No, I don't think anyone does.
So with that being said, the rules have practically been applied for the list. And now, before we get to the the worst of 2024, we'd like to go over the dishonorable mentions. And I do have a couple. I'm putting up my letterbox. These are movies I thought were bad, but weren't bad enough to have made the list for me specifically. Because even though we do watch bad films, there are some films we left out for different reasons. So for my dishonorable mentions they are as follows, in my opinion: Subservience, or as I like to call it, Mithrigan, but not good, and it stars Megan Fox. Elevation, which is basically one of the most boring insect films in a while. The History of Evil, a movie released by Shudder that tried to be a political commentary, but it was just not interesting. My Spy the Eternal City, who asked for this sequel to an already mediocre first film. The Tiger's Apprentice, which, my God, the production history behind that film was honestly more interesting than the movie itself, which was so
But
cliched.
hey, at least Paramount finally released it, unlike Warner Brothers.
Well, I guess that's the truth. Trigger warning, or as I like to call it, the female version of Rambo, is that not good. The Crow, insert that SpongeBob reference, where of the Mr. Krabs graveyard meme. Am I really going to defile this grave for Brandon Lee's grave for money? Of course I am. Dear Santa, probably the second worst thing Jack Black starred in this year. And finally, Despicable Me 4. Illumination, take your own advice and just let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up. And those are my dishonorable mentions.
All right. I have one dishonorable mention. Taro. Yep.
To what now?
My
Never
dishonorable mention is Taro.
Oh yeah, I never saw it. Thank God.
Good. I'm glad you didn't see it.
All right. And it looks like Mr. Chibillion has some dishonorable mentions. To him, they are Despicable Me 4, Taro, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, Orion in the Dark, Argyle, Night Swim, Imaginary.
Oh, yeah, Imaginary is pretty horrible. It was pretty boring.
And from the right dude, he has Hellboy the Crooked Man, It Ends With Us, Beekeeper, Trap, and Spaceman. So yeah, that's a pretty good list of films to put on your top on the dishonorable mentions.
Honestly, I forgot I saw some of them.
Yeah, so anyone else is willing to share their dishonorable mentions?
I think John Wick was in the middle of his.
I also have one more dishonorable mention. Night Swim.
Never saw it, but I seen the pitch meme for it.
Yeah,
What do they both have in common?
they're both horror movies.
And not even good ones at that.
Not to mention they're both rated PG-13.
I'm not sure.
Not surprised there.
One of them is from Screen Gems. The other one from Universal.
Yep. And with those, and because Smoking Record doesn't really have any dishonorable mentions.
Okay, actually, I do have a few.
All right.
Okay, let's see. First off, we have Carved, which is a horror pumpkin movie I mentioned, which is on Disney Plus Canada or Hulu for you Americans. Trap, which is pretty much M. Night Shyamalan's boring movie where it had an interesting premise, it just fucked up. Better than The Last Dance. It was a step up, but it's still a crappy Venom movie. Okay. Yeah, that's about it for me.
All right. So with all those dishonorable mentions over and done with, because we're still waiting for Rex to get here, because he's just letting us stall at this point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with our remaining dishonorable mentions gone, I think it's time for, I guess, what we like, or I guess, God dang it, we're just stalling at this point because this list is going to be painful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is gonna be a bit of a. This is gonna be a fucking doozy.
Yeah. So prepare yourselves, guys, for the rage, the rants, the crying, and the laughter from our audience.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that being said, because I might as well just get to the main list proper. All right. So until he gets here. All right. Here's the link on the live chat. All right. Razor said on Discord he's finally ready. He's finally gonna show up.
Oh yes. Sorry about that. Read what I put in the private chat.
What if Chris Pratt was Optimus Prime?
Oh, hells no.
Please no.
He was a horrible Garfield. He was fine as Mario, but an awful Garfield. Bill Murray, please come back. All is forgiven.
All right. So Rex is finally here.
Yep. Sorry.
What do you have for your dishonorable mentions?
All right. Dishonorable mentions. Well, I have also a new feature. Well, I'm going to do it on my top 10 worst video. I started editing it, but for I guess the dishonorable mentions, I could. Okay, my dishonorable mentions. First, Stranger in the Woods. It's pretty much just every horror movie set in the woods with a cabin that we've seen before.
Of course.
Nothing new. Smoking Record. I hope I don't upset you with this one. No Time to Spy, a Loud House movie.
It's fine.
Okay. Well, I thought the animation was. I'll give credit where it's due. The animation was solid, and there was one joke that made me laugh. One. But other than that, not worth it. Jurassic Triangle. First of all, that film reminded me of like this game, Jurassic the Hunted, where it involved the Bermuda Triangle. But this one didn't even have dinosaurs in it. I mean, it did have dinosaurs, but they were mostly focused on these like monster things, these things that looked like head crabs, and this thing that looked like a worse version of the Rock in the Mummy Returns.
Oh.
Which, how do you even do that? Excuse me, gonna shut the door real quick. And next is Dinosaur Hotel 3, which is so far the best of the series. Only because it has some amusement, amusement where you can actually laugh at. But other than that, it's trash. Then Rippy, that kangaroo horror film. Those are my dishonorable mentions. And I also have a new feature. Let me see if I can. I'm not seeing that mentions. Which, because there was so much, I'm going to show all the 2024 movies that I decided, you know what? I'm not going to see. These are the I'm not seeing mentions.
Don't blame you there.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not watching half of these.
Yeah, I mean, for my video, I'm only going to do 5 for sake, which I'm not. I got the idea from this guy I follow, Rocked. He had the I'm not listening to that mentions. Okay,
And now, let's begin.
Let's begin, folks. All right.
Are you ready?
And
Number
for how
11.
all right, I'm gonna start, then Rex, then Ethan. All right,
All right.
Sounds good.
all right. For my number
Oh.
11 is one of the
I
worst.
already talked about
For my number
11. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, let's not try to interrupt each other, okay?
Okay, sorry.
All right. For my number 11, it's probably one of the worst theatrically released animated films that we've gotten in quite a while. My number 11 is going to dun, 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 Ryan's World, the movie, Titan Universe Adventure.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
I'm still fathoming over how this was released in theaters. But then again, there's a movie that I'll talk about that was released in the theaters.
I literally
Yeah.
cringed at the trailer for this.
Yeah, let me say one thing. Why is this? I only give it 1 star, and why it's so low on the list is because more than anything else, it's just kind of sad to see what Ryan turned into. Like
Right.
I like knowing that his parents are criminals and are just exploiting him for fame. I kind of feel more sorry for Ryan, and you just want him to get out of here
I
at
know.
this point.
Right.
Because yeah, and the movie itself was absolute garbage. Between the live action segments being absolute cringe, some horrible acting. Like, look at the dad in bunny pajamas, and as much as I don't want to hark on Ryan, he can't exactly isn't the best place to act because it feels like he's just forced to read these lines and cringe.
Right.
And the animated segments, well, a little better than the animated film, than the live action segments. Not only is it cheaply animated with some horrendous lip sync and robotic animation, but the film itself, when the movie wasn't nonsensical, it was just kind of dull at this point. So not only is it the kind of film that you more or less, let's just feel sorry for all involved, except for Ryan's parents, of course. It's just a film that's so nonsensical. Like, the big bad, his motivation is that he lost his sister to Ryan's World, which, funny enough, actually makes him more sympathetic because, well, her sister's being subjected to brain rot like this. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
making Broly from Dragon Ball look sympathetic.
Yeah. So overall, Ryan's World, the movie, Titan Universe Adventure, is a terrible film. But between me being too sad and couldn't even get myself that angry at it, I couldn't put this one any higher than where it is. So that's why it's my number 11 worst movie of 2024. But trust me, we're just getting started.
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
Let's dive into the
All right.
of hell.
So is it my turn now?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I made a mistake because like I showed my top 5 dishonorable mentions because I forgot Stranger in the Woods is number 11 for me. My other dishonorable mention was Hellboy and the Crooked Man. Anyway, Stranger in the Woods, as I said before, not much can be said about it. It's just a film like every other horror movie you've seen, like where the cast are in the woods with a cabin. It's just boring and baffling. Like, yeah, like not the good kind. Anyway, next.
All right. I'm going up. My number 11 is It Ends With Us.
Oh, I heard about that movie.
Yeah.
Folks,
Oh,
the only 2 good things I can praise about this movie are Blake Lively's performance as well as the cinematography. That is it. Nothing else. The story, for one thing, sucks. The screenplay sucks as well. The directing sucks. The rest of the acting was terrible. I mean, Justin Baldoni, he is obnoxious. Justin Baldoni is absolutely obnoxious in this film. The editing was a complete mess. The soundtrack was also a mess. And that ending, just why? Overall, it ends with us. It's total garbage.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Total
There's this channel I follow, Modern Girls. When I watch her review of it, I'm all like,
That's
yep,
why
I'm skipping this.
It Ends With Us is my number 11. Who's
Mhm.
next?
All right, so is that all our number 11s? Yep. Yeah, thank you. And I agree, Smoking Record. This Ryan's World makes the AVGN movie look like a masterpiece. And yeah, the AVGN movie is better than this.
All right.
And now, time for number 10.
Number 10.
For my number 10 is one of the worst things Netflix have turned out in a while, Atlas.
Oh, I remember seeing that, and I actually thought about seeing it.
Hey, here's a weird movie, a movie idea, a movie that tries to be a commentary about AI. It's people feeling like it's a pro AI movie. Yeah, a movie that tries to have a commentary about AI, and yet this movie feels like it's more promoting it than actually critiquing it. But between the story being so derivative and generic, with an adventure plotline that practically has the world building makes absolutely no sense. Some really bad acting from Jennifer Lopez, but then again, aside from Selena, when has she ever been good?
Well, aside from that film with George Clooney.
Yeah, well, that's true. Some terrible CGI and effects, some boring exposition and characters, and all in all, it's just one of the movies that pretty much just has no right to have been made, let alone the fact that Netflix is greenlit this garbage. And that's why Atlas is my number 10 worst.
And
I remember catching my mom and her boyfriend watching Atlas, and I completely forgot about that movie.
All
it
right.
has Simu Liu. Dude, I like you, but come on, you deserve better than this.
Hell, you
Wait.
compared to What If? Hell, oh my God, he was in this?
Yeah, he was in Atlas.
Yeah,
Wait,
he
Shang-Chi?
was in Atlas. I've not
Shang-Chi
seen
was in
Atlas,
this?
and I don't plan to.
You were in
Shang-Chi, Simu Liu?
Yes, him.
Piss off.
Yep.
buddy.
All right. Razor, it's your turn.
Okay, my number 10
Yep.
is Moana 2. I originally gave this just found it average, like neither good nor terrible. But then, after some more thinking, I'm like, I was too kind to this movie. Well, I will give, it was just boring, and the pacing was off, and the supporting cast all had this defined trait, and that villain, that bat villain, I know her name, but I'm Matangi, I believe. She could have been cut out entirely, and it wouldn't have affected the plot. Also, I didn't stick around for the post-credit scenes because I didn't want to stick around any longer because I was bored and wanted to move out. I learned that there was a post-credit scene of Nalo meeting with Tamatoa. What? And I heard someone compare it to the post-credit scene for Morbius with the Vulture meeting up with Morbius.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
This made me rethink, you know what? I'm going to be more selective with what I see from Disney going forward. I mean, besides from some Marvel projects like that new animated Spider-Man show and X-Men 97 and a few Pixar titles, I'm going to be more selective with what I watch. Exactly, Ghost Stargirls. Exactly.
That's basically how I am when watching movies these days. I'm very selective of what I want to watch.
Yeah, I'm being selective more too because as I did a channel update explaining how I want to work more on my original stuff.
All right.
I didn't even bother with Moana 2.
All right.
I think the
Hang
only
on.
really interesting thing about this movie is the fact that it was supposed to be a TV show.
Right, and
Yes,
it
I
was
was
better
looking
off as a
forward to
TV
that.
show.
Yeah, it was pretty much
Probably.
all right. It was basically a Disney direct-to-video sequel released in theaters.
Pretty much.
Peter Pan 2 in the Jungle.
All
In
right.
other words, it was practically doomed to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And
Critically, not financially. Definitely not financially. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And now it's time for the other film the guy on the list.
All right. Number 10 for me is Red One.
Oh, I saw friends say that it looked like a parody trailer.
Yeah, it did look like some sort of parody trailer or something. Folks, this is one of the worst Christmas movies I've ever seen. And I mean it.
Like worse than Christmas and the Cranks?
Not really.
It can't be as bad as Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas.
Or Texas
Exactly.
Falls?
But the only thing I can praise about this movie is J.K. Simmons' performance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Absolutely nothing else.
Believe it or not,
The rest
I
of
kind
the acting was atrocious, especially from Dwayne Johnson.
He's not a good actor anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he was entertaining for a while, but now he's outworn his welcome. Not to mention,
Exactly.
I've heard like he's had some on-set drama and like he has an ego. I'm not in favor of him as Apocalypse. Besides the casting not making sense because he's not Egyptian.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Chris
that
Evans-
Apocalypse casting is only a rumor, so we should
Right.
probably take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah, I would not like that. But yeah, I would not like that rumor to be true.
If
He is not fit for Apocalypse at all,
Nope.
especially after hearing the story and what he did with DC and Black Adam.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Yeah. So, and then the visual effects. What? The visual effects are atrocious. So is the CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
I mean-
read this.
Yeah, I heard
Oh,
about
Weirdo.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the pacing is the pacing makes this movie drag out for way too long than it should. And then the ending sucks. So yeah, Red One is a perfect example of a Christmas movie that has no Christmas spirit.
Mhm.
That is why Red One is my number 10.
And look
All
what the
right.
right dude put for his number 10. His number 10 is Y2K. Unfunny, wooden performances, bland characters, and Fred Durst. Enough said. Yep. And now it's time. Yeah.
Yep, you're right, Smoking Wrecker.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And now for our number 9, because apparently we got to continue the train of suffering. My
Yeah.
number 9. All right, let me establish what the list is going to be about. Because spoiler alert, the next 5 movies on my list are horror movies.
Figures.
And
Figures.
yeah, and spoiler alert, the first 3 movies out of the 5 on this list almost share the same quality because they all share something in common. They're all PG-13 horror movies. So the first one on my list is Bagman. Never heard of it?
Sorry, the title sounds like a parody movie or something. Like something you'd hear in The Simpsons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, Family Guy.
Yeah. You want to know something? Yeah. You want to know something about this? This was released by Lionsgate.
Oh, Lionsgate.
Lionsgate.
Lionsgate had a rough year.
Yeah. And the
That
funny
thing
part,
must be cool.
yeah.
Oh
the
yeah, and
funny
they
part-
treat Kingdom Story Company like shit.
Yep. And the funny part is that the reason why it's technically the least bad of the 3 is because technically this wasn't able to get a full-on theatrical release because it was less known. So therefore, it didn't have a reason to make us pissed off about its existence. So which is why it's not any higher. And let's put up the bad horror movie checklist. Wasted potential, check. Non-existent scares that are nothing but jump scares, check.
I seen Bird jump scares from home.
Terrible editing and lighting, check. Characters making dumb decisions, check. Bullshit ending, check. Every bad horror movie trope you can find in Bagman is in this film. And sadly, this isn't even going to be the only PG-13 horror film, but trust me, that's coming up next in the next 2 entries. That's my number 9.
All right.
All right.
So
My
I'm
number
up?
9.
Oh, I'm up
Oh,
first.
sorry.
It's all right. Number 9, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
I was
Hot
disappointed
take
with that
coming
movie.
up. I wasn't really crazy about Ghostbusters Afterlife, but after watching Frozen Empire, in the words of Thanos, perhaps I treated you too harshly. Because literally most of the film is nothing happening. Aside from this one cool sequence that, involved this little stone carvings animation that I thought was legit cool.
Plus, I like Walter Peckett as the mayor. That's interesting.
Right. And the worst part was like the film like didn't become a frozen empire until like the last 30 minutes.
It's Sony. What do you expect from them, Rex?
Right. What happened to you, Sony? You used to be cool.
I'm still cool.
Nah, you've changed,
We're
man.
30. We're still cool.
Okay,
Yep.
a bit off topic, but for a while I have been meaning to give the original Ghostbusters a watch.
You should.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
The animated series are worth checking out, though.
I did
One
the
thing
Wolverine.
hasn't aged great from Extreme Ghostbusters. Tara Strong voicing the goth girl, and that was before she was famous and when she went by Strong. Anyway, moving on. Your worst list, John
All right.
Wick?
My
Your
number 9 is If.
Ah,
Oh, what? I like that.
I thought it was okay, but I can understand it. It
The
didn't feel fully
only
developed.
redeeming quality of this movie was the animation on the Ifs.
Yeah, the effects were impressive. Like they looked like it reminded me of Roger Who Framed Roger Rabbit levels. Like they were actually interacting with that stuff.
Yep.
Except they're all CGI and not 2D.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, I do remember seeing If in theaters because one of my sister's friends wanted to see it. And I remember thinking it was fine. It had its moments, but the story was very unfocused.
Yeah, it didn't fully commit to what it was presenting, and it's a shame.
Oh, well, the story is the worst part of the film because it is so unfocused.
Mm-hmm.
The screenplay was horrendous. The acting from the live action characters was awful. None of the jokes land. The pacing makes the movie drag out for far too long. The cinematography and editing aren't even that good.
Yeah, I can't understand it.
And the ending wasn't even that good either.
It was all right.
Now, the soundtrack was pretty. Soundtrack was a mess. So overall, If is a terrible film. No questions asked.
If certainly isn't the worst thing ever, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, the
And now
only equality with If was the animation on the Ifs. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
why If is my number 9.
And look what
The next,
Right Dude has for his number 9 is Joker Folie à Deux, a very disappointing sequel. The musical.
oh, I'll get to that in a little bit.
I'll get
Oh,
to tear it apart
Just
too.
wait, folks.
Yep.
All right. And the next 8 films, I gave a 0 out of 10 or an F2.
All right.
Because
For my
the
number
other-
8.
the next films after my 5
All right,
zeros are both negative 1s.
Yep.
Ouch.
Ah, wow. All right. For my number 8, let's continue the trend of bad horror movies because this one came out at the start of the year. Night Swim.
Oh yeah, I seen the picture.
Oh, God.
It's a PG-13 January horror
I
movie
gotta
that
use the
takes.
bathroom. I'll be back.
Yeah, it's a PG-13 horror movie that was released in January. Me expecting better is my own damn fault. And no, and we should have known that Mithrigan was never going to be a standard. Yeah, every bad horror movie cliche is on here. Also, but what fully cements this movie as far on the list is the fact that this movie had the balls to kill a cat.
I hate
It
when they
shouldn't
do
need to
that.
explain
Don't
why
kill
it's wrong.
pets. People get
Yeah.
upset.
At least it couldn't be as like when the Boondock Saints killed a cat.
Oh jeez.
All right, yeah, that's all I can say for Night Swim because, well, you knew it was going to be on here. It was the first movie that came out this year, so it was a dark omen for things to come.
Right.
And now for Rex's turn.
All right. My number 9 worst movie is actually a
number
tie
8.
with 3 movies.
Excuse me, it's number 8.
Oh, number 8. All right, sorry, I got thrown off. So that's okay. Number 8 is a tie between 3 movies: Attack of the Meth Gator, Ape X Mecha Ape, New World Order, and Alien Rubicon. They're all Asylum mockbusters, and I will say that Meth Gator is the only, like, at least can get some so bad it's good amusement, but that's it. Like, these films are all just terrible. Like, and here's the, like, Ape X Mecha Ape has this, like, Cthulhu thing that, and most of the time it's just, when I hear people complain about, like, okay, I understand the issues people have with the 2014 Godzilla movie, but Godzilla's screen time was average length. When people complain about too much time on the human characters in Mall, watch the Asylum Mockbuster Ape movies, because they put the monsters hardly get a chance to shine. And Alien Rubicon, it felt more like an Independence Day ripoff or something. And here's the most mind-boggling thing. Like, I mean, well, actually, it's not mind-boggling, but when you see you're all, really? Like, these opened up with the 25th anniversary of the Asylum. 25 years of what?
Ripping off movies?
Yeah, I mean, now, before saying that, but it's low fruit. What did you expect? Being a low-budget movie is no excuse for quality, which someday I'll get into when I tear apart the film Jurassic Dead, but that's for another time.
All right, my number 8. Like I said, these next 5 movies were the movies that I gave a 0 out of 10 or an F to. And starting with, and you got number 8. My number 8 is Bob Marley, One Love.
I found the film mid, but yeah, it was underwhelming.
Seriously. Fuck
That's a-
this movie.
That's a biopic, right?
Yes.
It is a biopic, yeah.
My mom and her boyfriend actually went to see that.
Go on about it, because I actually saw the Bob Dylan biopic and that was good. Go
All right.
on.
I still have yet to see a complete unknown. I want to see that. But, yeah. Bob Marley, One Love. There's absolutely nothing redeeming in this movie at all. Absolutely nothing. Story, screenplay, acting, cinematography, pacing, editing, everything about this movie is just horrendous. The acting especially. It's awful. The person that's supposed to be playing Bob Marley does such an awful job. I mean, yeah.
I can think, it reminds me back to this thing, because like there's this guy I follow. He did this joke that sums up why 99% music biopics fail. Well, why most of them fail. Let's see.
Exactly.
Like,
And
I
Bob
should do that, but like,
Marley,
have you
One Love
seen?
is one of those biopics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've already kind of shown that. Plus, we don't want to drag everything too long.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Already showed
Yeah.
it.
Bob Marley, One Love is the worst music biopic I've ever seen. That's why Bob Marley, One Love is my number 8.
Yep, and looks like the right dude's number 8 is Imaginary.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, now we are finally at number 7. Oh my god. Number 7. Number 7. The bad horror movies never end. And this time, and the next one on that list is Tarot.
Oh, never saw that.
Do you want to know?
Saw posters for it, and I thought about seeing it, but then I said, nope, I have better things to do.
Yeah. Do you want to know Do you want to know the 2 things in this movie that kept it from being a 1 out of 10? 1, Ned Leeds is in it, and 2, the elevator scene. Other than that, like the last 2 movies, it repeats all the bad horror movie tropes at this point. Like, it's almost at a point where I have very little to say about Tarot, but I just want to remember that, yes, it deserves a spot on my list. It could have been a tie, but unfortunately, I'm just too petty to do so. That's really all I can say for Tarot, because on its own is just going to make a painful list.
Okay.
So let's just move on to Rex.
All right. Number 7, I did a review of this on my channel, and it was satisfying. It's gained 2K views. This one, and it felt satisfying. Rogue Elements, a Ryan Drake story.
Oh, yes.
Take the Critical Drinkers film that he penned, based off his Ryan Drake book series, which I have not read his books, nor do I plan to, but I heard from people who are who review books and authors that his books are trash.
No surprise in there.
And
No surprise.
here's the funniest part. And this is present in his films. See, in his books, they feature Mary Sue's, and I mean actual Mary Sue's, like Mulan in the 2020 Mulan. And not when people just call a female character a powerful female character Mary Sue. And the guy who always has complained about Mary Sue's, he has some of the biggest Mary Sue's in fiction.
Hypocrite.
And this is present in the film. It has not one but two Mary Sue's. Well, one that could be debated if it's Mary Sue or not, but it did some things that I'm pretty sure if it was written by someone other than him, it would be bad. And anyway, this film, think every spy thriller before, except it has nothing unique or interesting. It's just a cliche storm, as TV Tropes likes to call it, but it has no charm or anything. It's just soulless. And the dialogue is laughable. It has shoehorned in profanity. And of course, and the lighting is awful. It has this yellow grating, and the action is just boring. And I heard people, and I don't buy the excuse of this being an indie film, because I've seen indie films with better production than this. Plus, Krieger has tons of money he could easily provide it to the budget.
Yeah, there's really no excuse there.
Exactly. At
And
this point, this is why I
this
feel
film had the nerve to tease sequels.
Get in the back with Sula.
Yeah. I kind of feel less bad about Stuckman now. Stuckman, I don't respect him anymore, but I'm pretty sure Shelby Oaks is going to look better by comparison compared to this.
And there was this person that said, it said it well. I'm not saying direct quote, but I'm paraphrasing. It said, if you're going to complain about all this stuff in other people's work, then you shouldn't be guilty of it too. And I agree.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. My number 7 is The Strangers Chapter 1.
They're still making those movies?
Yep.
Yes. And we're getting a part 2 this year.
What? How many Strangers movies are there?
This movie this is one of the worst fucking horror films I've ever seen in my life. Okay, first off, the characters. These characters are dumb. These characters are so fucking dumb that they make Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants look smarter in comparison.
Even before that episode, where he got brain coral.
Yep. The cinematography is atrocious because the lighting is fucking god-awful. The lighting, my God. You can't even... The lighting is atrocious. The acting, as well, is awful. The jump scares, they're just there for the sake of it. And that goddamn end credit scene. That fucking mid-credit scene. When I saw that, I was disgusted. So overall, I forgot to mention the soundtrack. The soundtrack is shit. The screenplay sucks ass. Yeah. Overall, The Strangers Chapter 1 is absolute horseshit. And that's why The Strangers and it's the worst horror film of the year for me. And that is why The Strangers Chapter 1 is my number 7.
Yep, and let's go through some of the comments because the right dude's number 7 is Night Swim, which, it deserves to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
And from Mr. Chibion, because he posted his list, His number 7 ended up being Y2K.
All right.
All right.
Let's
Now
go to
time-
number 6.
We're almost there.
666. The
Number
number
6.
of the beast.
My number 6.
Oh, boy.
Was spawned to be
Number
released.
6. Oh, and by
Yeah.
the way, I might plan a worst films of the decade so far live stream sometime.
All right.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
For my number 6.
You guys
This
are
is
welcome to join in.
All right. This is my number. Welcome to my number 6. I'll give it one thing. At least it wasn't a terrible studio PG-13 horror film. That doesn't save The Exorcism from being utter dog crap. Russell Crowe, what are you even doing in your career at this point? Like, you already had an
I
Exorcist
haven't
movie.
seen this movie.
What happened to you,
and
man? It used to be
I
cool.
probably don't plan on doing so.
And wasn't he in another Exorcist horror movie last year or something?
Yeah.
Like, what is your agent thinking? And
Yeah,
of course,
this is-
it doesn't get better
yeah.
for him because then he was in Craven this year.
What happened
Yeah.
to you, man? It used to be cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this movie is one of the laziest movies I have ever seen. With a movie that's so derivative of every movie revolving exorcism, and the fact that this movie thought it would be a great idea to use a molestation subplot to elicit sympathy from the audience. Like, the editing is terrible, the characterization is bad, the lighting is bad, the movie's not scary whatsoever, and overall, I felt like I just wasted my time. And unlike Tarot, Night Swim, or Batman, where at least they had some potential for it to work, or at least had one cool scene in it, this had nothing. There was nothing in here that I liked. And yes, everything after number 6 is every movie that I gave a 1 out of 10 or lower. Let that speak volumes. Or how about the next? Let that be an omen for you of how bad the following movies are going to be later on.
Oh
that's
boy.
Oh boy.
And that's why The Exorcism is my number 6 worst.
Right.
All right. Razor Rex, your turn.
All right. We're on number 6, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 6, Joker Folia Do.
Oh, I'll get to that movie in a bit. Don't
If
you
I could
worry.
sum it up in a few, like 3 words, it would be the Joker's words in Batman Beyond the Joker Returns. That's not funny. Well, there was one joke that made me laugh, but it was with the Notebook, but that was it. This film was just boring. And it took away what made the original Joker, which I rewatched and prepped for this new film, because I was worried, as I said, I was worried, the original Joker, it was only, because I heard people make the case it was only popular because of brand recognition. But
yeah, and believe it or not, I heard there were people hyped for this. It's like, really?
really? Because Harley Quinn, we got a better Harley Quinn this year in Caped Crusader. But anyway, this show, this movie.
I think I had hope for this.
Yeah, it didn't need a sequel. It didn't need to be this bad. And what made the original Joker special was it was left for open for interpretation. We were left to decide what was and wasn't in his head.
Exactly.
And here we know fully well what is in his head and what isn't. And not to mention, it completely misses the point of what makes musicals special.
Exactly.
What makes musicals work is that the song numbers have to get the plot moving, and unfortunate part. Think the songs in Disney movies. Be prepared. Getting the poor unfortunate souls. You get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
It was just why?
None of these songs push the film forward at all.
Exactly.
All right.
John Wick, you're next.
Yep. My number 6 is Borderlands.
Oh.
Holy
I'll be turning
shit.
this later on. I'll be turning this one later on.
Fuck you, Abby
boy.
Hard.
I saw this movie at my Cinemark theater. Pray for me. Pay respects.
Thank God I didn't.
Pay respects to me because I saw this movie at my Cinemark theater.
Did someone take you?
No, I just went myself.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
God damn.
Oh, Borderlands. Where do I even start? First off, the visuals and the CGI look hideous.
Mm.
The story. What story?
It was just a discount Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Yep.
The screenplay.
You know, it could have worked a lot better as an animated movie.
To quote Bombi, I hate cheap knockoffs.
The screenplay is atrocious. The acting was atrocious too, especially from Tiny Tina. And the worst character of this movie, Claptrap.
Figures.
Jack Black. You're a Bowser.
I know. Tiny Tina and Claptrap are the two worst characters of this entire film. Directed by Eli Roth, sucks.
Claptrap is the robot voiced by Jack Black, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Jack Black.
What is with some of the recent movies he's been in, man?
We don't know.
No idea.
But
The
yeah,
bad age or bad scripts.
the ending, fuck that ending. Seriously.
Also, fuck Avi Ard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Avirad, please retire. You're in your mid
All right.
70s,
I'm
and
gonna get to my
you're,
overall thoughts.
you're already filthy
Overall,
stinking rich.
Borderlands is one of, if not the, Borderlands is the worst video game-based movie I've ever seen in my life, and it makes Uncharted look like Citizen Kane in comparison.
You know, Borderlands would have been so much better as an animated movie.
It could imitate the art style in the games.
Yeah. And that's why Borderlands is my number 6.
I haven't played the Borderlands games, but like I know that they're rated M. So, but yet this movie is PG-13.
I know.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you for pointing it out, Mr. Chibillion.
God damn it.
And now for the comment section.
Okay.
From the right
I
dude,
gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
his number 6 is In a Violent Nature. Oh boy.
I thought it was all right.
Yeah, let's go over Mr. Chibillion's number 6 because he has his list posted. Let's see. His number 6 is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Don't blame him there.
And
Yep.
And here's the thing, like, because Avirad, I really did not want to be in the Avirad hate train, but then when you look into things, yeah, he's a problem because like he's been a producer for all these movies and shows. Like some of those shows are actually good. Like he was a producer for like a lot of the 90s like the 90s and 2000s animated shows. Like if it can just get it's not working for some reason, but like look at like there are all these shows that he was a producer for, like the Marvel animated universe back in the 90s, some of the 2000s Marvel animated shows,
Don't been over too much time.
and also back when Marvel started, like some good Marvel titles like the original Blade, X-Men, Blade 2, Spider-Man. Like seriously, man, I'm saying this as someone who enjoys the movies that you were involved in. Please retire. You're already
Holy shit, he was even involved with Production IG.
Oh, didn't notice that. Like,
all right,
please just retire, Rad. You're
okay,
already
look at what
rich.
I put in the private chat.
Yep, it would have been dope.
But no, people are too fucking stupid.
Hollyweird, am I right?
Animation is only for dumb babies. It can't be mature whatsoever.
All right.
Thank God we have things like Chainsaw Man, the Razor Arc, where it goes against that shit.
All right.
Yeah, the shit.
And all right. And finally, we're in the top 5. Oh my God, we're in the top 5 now.
The top 5. Oh,
my
I have some real.
Well, I'm actually glad that I saw none of these.
Yeah, because my number 5 is thankfully, and thank God, the last horror movie on the list I get to talk about. January. Yeah, Founders Day is my number 5. I'm not going to bother with this one. I'm just going to leave it at this. Imagine Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, but if there was a carbon copy of it, and this movie had no likable characters, it had a dumb and moronic twisted ending, and the slasher villain has a fucking gavel for a killing for means of killing, and it's so cheaply made, badly made too, like with terrible editing, all that crap. Like, whereas The Exorcism was just derivative of every Exorcism movie, this one is just carbon copying Thanksgiving and Scream, but bumming in a stupid political commentary. And really, who was asking for a Founders Day movie? It's not even an event that anyone even cares about, right? Like, do y'all care about Founders Day? At least celebrate it?
No,
I'm
I didn't
Canadian,
even
I don't
know it was
care.
a thing.
Yeah. Like, that's just how, and no wonder why this movie was dumped in January and only got a small theatrical release in some places. Because there was
That
nothing
explains
to
why I
this
never heard
movie.
about it.
Yeah. And the only thing you'll know about it is that it's right now, it's now on Tubi.
Figures.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why Founders Day is my number 5 and the worst horror movie of the year, because thankfully the next 4 are not horror movies. Although they do horrify me for how awful they are. Resurrect, your turn.
All right. My number 5 worst movie of the year. Okay. The American Society of Magical Negroes. Yes, this is an actual movie title, and this is an actual movie.
And you wonder why it got so many dislikes.
Yeah, like the fact that this is an actual movie is just baffling. Like, I don't hate Justice Smith like some people do. Like, I was meaning to watch that movie. I watched the TV Glow, and I liked him in Detective Pikachu in that Dungeons and Dragons movie. But
Thanks.
and heck, I like him in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. But here, like, I mean, the material he couldn't save the material he was given. Like, this film lent itself to some good satire. It focused on this love romance that I could care less about, and like, it was for a movie that was described as a fantasy comedy. There was like only 1 or 2 jokes that were actually funny. Everything else was not. I'm probably the whitest, and as someone, I can't say for Black people if this film is offensive or not, but I can say it offended me because, as Sean Smeck and Moore said, the only joke that offends me is one that isn't funny. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
And to answer that question, I think it has to do with those people.
Right.
All right. My number 5 is Madam Web.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna see that later on my list.
He was in
Boy,
the Amazon
folks,
Reader Inspires right before he died.
This is how you not make a superhero film.
Who was asking for this?
Magic spiders. What the actual fuck were they thinking?
What the fuck? As you can obviously tell, folks, there's nothing good about this movie at all. Story, screenplay, acting, everything terrible. The visual effects atrocious.
The fucking ADR on that villain was not only poorly acted, but so fucking poorly dubbed.
Yeah, the fucking ADR.
Sony unironically looked at that and thought, yeah, this is perfectly okay to release in theaters for millions of people to see.
Let me play the line. You were in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
I remember that Valentine's Day joke with that line.
Yeah, I tried to do my best impression of that that meme-worthy line.
Yeah. And
anyway, back to Ethan's rage.
Madam Web. Also, cinematography is atrocious. The product placement, oh dear God. All right, does anyone want to say the scene with me? Ezekiel Sims dies from fucking product placement.
Yeah, I actually unironically
product placement killed Ezekiel Sims.
Yeah, I actually unironically quoted the Letter of the Day song of Sesame Street.
And here's the craziest thing about Madam Web. Avi Arad wasn't involved with it. Like, he's not a producer in it. Like, if you told me he was, I would have believed it, but he's nowhere near involved with it. Granted, I still consider him the real villain of the Sony verse. Just
Crazy to believe that people unironically believe that the Spider-Man rights are better off with Sony.
Yeah,
I call him
Sony.
Paul.
Yeah,
Okay, tell me, name one good Spider-Man film. About excluding Spider-Man 1, 2, the Amazing Spider-Man movie, and the Spider-Verse movies. Go.
I kind of like the Venom film. I still like the first Venom film.
I liked all 3 Venom movies.
right.
Hey. Oh, you mean when they made PG-13 Carnage? I'm sorry, I'm still mad at that. Sony, you have no balls.
Where are your balls? I'm thinking of that.
I'd rather gouge my fucking eyeballs out than watch any of these movies.
Sony has no balls. Only
Yeah.
incompetence.
But yeah. And the ending fucking sucks. The Easter eggs as well.
Sucks.
They literally had to lie about the 3 Spider Women being more prominent in the movie when they were only in fucking flashback scenes. That is
Right.
just
Also, you know the original plan for it was supposed to be more Terminator-esque.
Yeah.
Like Ezekiel Sims going back in time to kill Spider-Man before he was born. I guess Sony was like, "Oh no, that's too awesome. We got to tone it down the awesomeness." Make it more
Except
than-
Deadpool.
we gotta tone down the actual quality for actual dog shit.
And I actually
Yep.
saw some that point out that Deadpool
All right.
2 took inspiration from the Terminator
All right.
plot
Yeah.
better.
But folks, yeah. That's why Madam Web is my number 5.
And it's only number 5, so
Yeah,
What comes next?
and now to see the other person's list because the right dude's number 5 is Madam Web.
Madam Web.
of
Well,
course-
what do you know?
the one
Yeah.
good thing about Madam Web is this. It didn't spawn any stupid memes.
and Mr. Chibillion's number 5 is Red One. Yep. So
We
yeah.
already talked about Red One.
Yeah. Although Morbius is a more boring movie, whereas Madam Web was at least entertainingly bad, but I'll get to that later on because our number 4. My number 4 is from a director that needs to stop. Mea culpa. Tyler Perry, just stop. That's all I can really say about it.
Okay,
You're not a good actor, and you're an even worse director.
hang on. Say what you will about the movie, but I'm not sure if we should be saying that the director has to stop directing because it is their job. They have to make money.
It's true, but
He has his own
consider-
studio. There's this whole thing I watched, explaining how he has his own studio and how he fired all his writers. Which, let me say this: I don't think there's anything wrong with being your own writer. But you have to come up with something more than the same old plots over and over again. Which I
And
should
Tyler Perry, if you're going to keep making movies, get a better writer. At least.
or change things up. There's and
Yeah.
there's
And this
actually
movie-
a lot I respect about Tyler Perry, but that's for another stuff. That's off topic. Go on.
Yeah, but at this point, this movie has every cliche of a bad Tyler Perry movie, especially when he does a drama. Because outside of Gone Girl, man, Tyler Perry's just not good.
And I'm not the most caught up with Tyler Perry's films. I've only seen the two Medea Halloween movies and the Christmas one, but I have an idea of Tyler Perry plot lines thanks to the Boondocks, which more on that later.
All right? And that's really all I can say for Mea Culpa. I
Mhm.
erased this one from my memory, and it's better off it stays that way.
Right. And so I guess it's my turn now?
Yep.
Okay. My number 4 movie. Now, no, this is in no way associated with the Predator prequel. This is Prey. This one is about some people in a plane that get stranded in the wilderness in Africa and have to deal with lions. Well, there are hardly any lions in the movie. This film is just boring. It's literally most of it nothing happening. And the lions, when something interesting does happen, it happens off screen. It's like when like and like there is it's literally just nothing happening. And like, how do you like? There's like keeping the monster hidden, but like then having the exciting stuff happen off screen, but like just boring. And like the only thing saving it from a lighting lower was at least like there was this part with these, I forget what they were, but like they provided like they realized they were in a trash movie and decided to ham things up, but that was it. And it was kind of amusing, like because it tried to do this whole faith-based thing, which I believe there can be good faith-based movies, but this like it just had this lightning strike down as a lion was about to charge or something. Just awful. Just stick with Idris Elba's Beast. That is, actually, I mean, I know that people have issues with that movie, but I actually enjoy it.
I just call it Ryan Cujo.
All right.
All right. My number 4 is Despicable Me 4.
Never saw it.
Oh, right, that film. I even
Can I repeat the joke again?
All right.
Sure.
Let it die, let it die,
Yeah.
let it
Live it up, All right. Oh, Despicable Me 4. What can I say about this fucking piece of shit?
I haven't watched it, and I have no intentions on watching it. Like
Me either.
like with a lot of the movies we're talking about.
I even forgot the film
Yeah,
was released
Despicable
this
Me
year.
4 is not just the worst movie in the Despicable Me franchise, but it's also the worst movie I've seen from Illumination. Seriously, this movie marks a new low for Illumination.
Is it worse than Hop?
Yes.
Oh.
Based.
Ouch. And
Everything about this movie is awful. For one, there's no story.
Not surprising.
Yeah, I hear the story is pretty cluttered.
How the hell did they get a lot of money in the box office? Oh, wait.
And no one seems to talk about that fact anyway. Kind of
I
like with
know.
Moana 2.
and also, of course, they're not going to age up the sisters. Which, come on,
Don't
Yeah.
you started
And yet-
up that shit.
You mean
Yeah,
they're not going
and
to
yet-
age up
and
the
yet-
Carls?
And yet, Herb and Scarlet Overkill returned this film, and they've aged. So why not the girls?
Yeah.
This is gonna feel stupid. Ugh.
All right.
Oh, one
The
last.
screenplay was awful. The writing is absolutely horrid. The voice acting, terrible. The animation, mediocre at best.
Another sign that's not a good sign was this. Like, first off, if I had a nickel for every fourth trailer for a movie that played the Guns N' Roses Sweet O Child of Mine, I'd have 2 nickels. Thor Love and Thunder and Despicable Me 4.
But yeah. The Minions are at their absolute worst.
Worse than in their own standalone movie?
Yes.
Whoa.
Maxime and now we get to the worst character in the film. Maxime Lamau.
You mean French Will Ferrell?
Yep.
Well, it's the closest thing we'll
His
get to
voice-
Megamind facing off with
He is
Gru.
just annoying. His voice is annoying. And just everything about him is just annoying.
Not to mention his motivation is pretty petty, all things considered.
Yep. And the fact that he's a human hybrid cockroach. Ew. Gross.
I remember what the fly in that.
I literally wanted to throw up. My God. And the ending, don't even get me started on the ending. And my God, fuck that ending.
Is it with all the villains singing "Everyone Wants to Rule the World"?
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
What the? That's just,
Oh boy. Then after my number 4, these next 3 movies were the movies that I gave a Burn in Hell award certificate to.
Welcome to hell,
I will never get tired of that.
All right. That's why Despicable Me. So all in all, Despicable Me 4 is not just the worst Despicable Me movie, but also the worst movie that Illumination has made so far.
Ouch.
That is why.
Ouch.
That is why Despicable Me 4 is my number 4.
And now let's check through the comments. And let's say from the right dude, his number 4 is, of course, the American Society of Magical. I'm not saying that last word, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Fair
even
enough.
sure if I can say it myself, being of German and Scandinavian descent.
And let's see what. And Mr. Morbillion for his number 4 is Joker following a doo-doo.
Oh boy.
Joker,
And now-
follow your dicks. Category.
Yep. And the only good thing we can say is that we're almost done. We have 3 more to go.
Yep.
3 more to go. And
3
yes,
more.
these are the next 3. These next 3 films these next 3 films I'm about to talk about are the films that received my Burn in Hell award certificate.
And for number 3, for a while, I thought that this was going to be my worst movie of the year. Little did I know that 2 movies made this movie look like an Oscar contender in comparison. My number 3 worst, you saw this coming. I talked about it all year long. Madam Web.
Of course.
God.
The
It's
I'll say
wedding
this.
time.
I'll say this. The only reason why it's only number 3 and not in the bottom 2 is because objectively it is worse than Morbius in every conceivable fashion.
And it had
And
the
yet-
same writers.
Yeah, and yet I thought this one was one of the most entertainingly, hilariously terrible movies I've ever seen. Like, seriously though, it's one of those
I can
movies-
see what you mean when you say that.
Yeah,
I
it's one of
know
those-
what you mean when you say.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where you just have to see it to believe it, because holy crap, everything about this movie is wrong. And you know a movie is so bad when everybody hates it. And when I mean everybody, I really do mean everybody. Like
Even the
some of
actresses.
yeah, like both Sydney Sweeney and Dakota Johnson practically trashed this movie to no end. They found ways to say this movie sucks. So
My
that's-
favorite part of the movie is that it feels like a movie. I think that was something Dakota Johnson said in an interview. It could have been someone else though. I don't know.
Yeah,
I heard someone
and
was actually not happy with Dakota Johnson trashing the movie. Oh, sure. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart trashed Twilight, and Lionsgate don't bat an eye.
Yeah.
But Dakota Johnson,
But-
sorry.
But from an objective standpoint, it's terrible on all confronts. Between probably the worst script I have seen all year, like if this was ranking on the script and not just my personal opinion, this would have been number 1. The way they insult Spider-Man's legacy is probably some of the most disrespectful things I've seen. Like they omit every single Spider-Man reference known to man. Like, seriously though, they couldn't even mention Peter Parker, the baby. It's Peter Parker.
Yeah, and neither they couldn't even mention Aunt May.
Yeah, and of course the characters are either incredibly annoying, like the 3 girls, or practically a character I just want to see get shot, aka Madam Web herself.
Can I say something about the Spider Women?
Yeah,
Clover, Alex, and Sam are totally spies, or more badass than them.
yeah.
I agree.
Not to mention the Spider-Man stuff. Like we were like this movie is so ashamed to be a comic book movie that they don't even gear up, aside from a few minor glimpses and near the film's end.
Ugh.
So it's basically an origin story to set up a sequel that will never happen because this shit universe is finally dead.
Yep.
Ding dong, the universe is dead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And don't even get me started on the villain. Holy crap. Can we talk about how he's an idiot? Like, he
Yes.
fears that 3 spider women are going to kill him. Why doesn't he just move somewhere else instead of going after them himself?
I
That wasn't
know.
a movie.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on the. Oh my God, you're gonna be die in cringe. ADR time.
Yeah.
The ADR on him is so bad. Like, holy crap! I usually don't notice ADR at first, or don't tend to really pay too much attention to them. But with this movie, I saw the ADR from the very beginning of the movie. And the way he gets defeated was through a Pepsi sign.
Oh,
Pepsi killed my grandmother.
Yeah, and I like to remind you that I actually quoted the Sesame Street song "Letter of the Day" when I saw that. The
you know what?
only thing, yeah, and the only thing that's stopping me from giving this a lower spot on the list is it's objectively terrible, but hilariously terrible. And I would say I would rather watch this movie than the next 2 movies on this list. As much as I shouldn't have not seen it in theaters, I'm kind of glad I went to go see it in theaters.
All right.
And that's why Madam Web is my number 3.
Yep. My number 3. Now, see, all of the past, most of the movies I've rated, like 1 through 3 through. Sorry, I'm moving. 3 through and 2 of 7 were 1 stars. My number 3 worst movie of the year is Not Another Church Movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, I learned about this movie from Double Toasted, and
I love those guys.
when it was released, like available to rent off iTunes, I figured I'd check it out because I need material for my worst list. And now, I heard like that the film, like the craziest thing about this film, like first of all, like it's weird that this film was released in 2024 because like if you told me like this was one of those spoof movies from the 2000s, like date movie, epic movie, disaster movie, vampires suck, meet the Spartans, and so on, I would have believed it. But it's not. This film is meant to be a spoof of Tyler Perry movies, which I'm not sure how that works, but aren't Tyler Perry movies already a parody of themselves?
Yeah.
And the craziest thing about this movie is it was released into theaters and not like a Fathom event or special showing. Like, it got the whole weekend. Like, and now granted, it did get a theatrical release where I live, but still. And anyway, the film, like, it was just painfully not funny. Like, I'm not even sure what it could be qualified as jokes. Like, I mean, at least Tyler Perry movies have jokes. Like, I've heard people make the case that these are worse than Tyler Perry movies, which I can't say because I've only seen 3 Tyler Perry movies. And it had Mickey Rourke playing the devil, which is not his first time playing the devil, actually. He played the devil in a Danny Trejo movie, but it had Jamie Foxx as God. Jamie Foxx, man, why? And also the film like spelled out what it is referencing. Like there was the line where, quick, we better hurry before Medea goes to jail. Like, and they just look at the camera and like and believe me, I wanted to hate this movie. I rated this movie 1 star, and believe me, I wanted to rate it lower, but I couldn't even find enough for that because it didn't even anger me enough for that. Like, for the most part, I was just confused, just oh yeah, just numb because like it was just like not just kept being unfunny, like to the point like it just didn't have an effect, like it didn't anger me enough for that. It was like just confusing. Like, why is this made, let alone released in theaters? Let alone this decade. That's all I have to say for Not Another Church Movie.
And
oh boy, folks. Oh boy.
Wait, before Ethan gets to his number 3, let's look at what Sean put in the comments. Proceeds to show a tragic backstory regarding the Pepsi.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that is the saddest thing I have ever heard in my life.
Forget the
Never
ending
knew
of Johnny
a story
Gunner's
about
times.
this would be so sad.
Oh man.
Whoopsie
Let's see
man.
that. What's about one of the main movies?
Oh my god. All right.
All right.
Oh boy.
Now
John,
that
John
Three
Wick.
films were the films that I gave the Burn in Hell Award certificate to. And this is the last 0 out of 10 you'll see. Because the next two films are the films that I gave a -1 to.
Oh boy.
Because, yeah. My number 3 is the remake of The Crow.
Oh boy.
AKA emo John Wick.
Am I really gonna quote that SpongeBob reference again? Am I really gonna defile Brandon Lee's grave for money? Of course I am.
I haven't seen the original Crow, but I mean, it's on my watch list. I have a lot of things on the watch list, but like I heard, like it was like a one of a kind film, like, and it was
I
not
heard good
even
things
like
about it too.
like the director
Alright.
didn't even consider releasing the film after
Oh
Brandon
boy.
Lee's tragic death. But and
The Crow 2024.
I hear you.
Where
crying.
do we start?
That is just emo John Wick.
Boy. The acting, atrocious. Cinematography, awful. Some of the worst lighting I've ever seen. The writing is atrocious. Sorry about that. Bill Skarsgård gives a horrible performance.
I can't believe I'm saying it, but his performance in Eternal is better than this.
Thankfully, he got to redeem himself with Nosferatu.
Yep,
Yeah,
thank God.
I forgot about that. Thanks, Rex.
Mm-hmm.
And the kills weren't even that. The kills were just horrible. The editing is horrible. The pacing is fucking dreadful. And the ending is one of those sequel bait endings where the ending is basically a fucking sequel bait ending.
I heard about that from pitch meeting.
This is an ending where it basically teases a sequel. Well, guess what? Due to the movie's financial failure, that's not gonna fucking happen.
Not in a million years.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, The Crow 2024 is an absolute disgrace to Brandon Lee. And it is one of the worst remakes I've ever seen. And that's why The Crow 2024 is number 3. And oh boy, after this, I'm going on an extreme rant.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right. Yeah, we kind of knew what you were referring to, Sean. And that's for Mr. Chobillion. Why don't you like Pepsi? Because Pepsi killed my Ezekiel, okay?
All right.
Now, let's check the comments.
Number 2.
Yeah, let's check the comments. From the right, dude, it's number 3 is Taven Bikini Bottom. And for Mr. Chibillion's number 3, let's go after his number 3. I'm trying to go through the comment section one by one. His number 3 is Craven the Hunter.
Or Craven the Ammo Lover.
Anyway,
Raven time.
Anyway, we're almost there. We're
Number 2.
We have 2 more left.
Oh boy. Number 2. As
my
I
number
have
2.
Extreme rant.
My number 2. Oh my god, number 2. I knew going into this movie that it wasn't going to be very good. but I was expecting at least a guilty pleasure or at least a dumb fun kind of bad. This garbage, on the other hand, could not even muster what my little expectations that I had for this movie. My number 2 is Borderlands.
Oh,
Oh God.
Oh my god. Even as someone who had never played the games, this is one of the probably the worst video game movie in a long time. Thank
Worse than
God
Overall?
3.
thank God.
Because oh my god, if you had told me that this came from like the early stages of bad video game movies, I would have believed you. Because everything about this movie is atrocious on every single level. And the only thing that kept this movie from being number 1 is the production. It's some of the production side being okay at best, but that's about it. As this train wreck on all fronts is a disaster because this movie had no effort, no charisma, no chemistry, no fun, no interesting features, and was nothing but a disgustingly corporate grab-tastic piece of amphibian garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the exposition is awful. The acting, everyone is miscast. And don't get me started on 2 of the worst characters I have seen in the history of anything. With Tiny Tina being obnoxious, but oh my god, crap trap. I despise everything about that robot. Not only was he
Jack
not
Black,
only-
what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
not only-
What are you doing?
I
Yeah.
want to see Bender and Jenny from Jenny beat the shit out of this claptrap character.
Yeah, not only was he not funny, but he would never shut up and none of his jokes land. Like, there was a scene where he was constantly shitting out bullets.
Yeah, I saw that in the
Oh.
trailer.
Yeah, they were
Who
proud
created
of that
idea?
apparently. And if I looked at it as a Borderlands adaptation, this movie is an absolute disgrace to the game.
Yeah, and
Like-
like I've heard from people who played the game point out how like they've cast actors that are twice the age of the character's stuff. For example, Lilith is in her 20s. They cast Kate Blanchett, who's in her 50s or 60s.
Who did
And
did
all-
this all right? Avi
Yeah.
Ard.
And the CGI is terrible. Like, this movie had like lots of money. What was their excuse for this? And here's the fun fact. Apparently, from what I heard, Eli Roth ended up leaving the movie to do Thanksgiving.
Mm.
We don't know if he's we don't know if he truly deserves the blame or not. But whoever made this garbage, someone has to have the fault for this.
Avi Ard deserves the blame.
Avi Arad.
Please retire, man.
I
Yeah,
don't care. I don't care if I'm
Borderlands.
pronouncing his name wrong. I'm still calling him that.
Yeah, Borderlands is bored turd trash, as I like to call it. It's everything wrong with movies today. And I would have ranked this movie as my number 1 worst movie for how much I was insulted and how much it wasted my time. But let's be honest, a sequel to an underrated gem managed to piss me off more. Because trust me, I am hinting my number 1 right off the gate. And that's why
Oh boy.
And that's why Borderlands is my number 2 worst. And let's check in the comment section because Sean said something interesting. Yeah, exactly.
I'm still not getting Netflix for canceling the Cuphead show.
Ugh. And I'm still
Right.
being cautious with the Zelda movie because I'm a big Zelda fan.
I
But
don't blame you
it's
there.
okay.
I'm
I'll
gonna
be
go
around.
with my
I'll be
number 2
around.
out of the way because I want to get this extreme rant out of my system.
All right. Anyway,
Right.
Oh boy, I know what this one's gonna be.
My
All right.
number 2.
well, first I have to do my number 2.
Oh.
My
All
number
right.
2 is Arctic Hollow. First, let me just show you something wrong with this picture. Let me show you the poster for this because, like, this just has to be showed. The poster has to be seen. I'll let you figure out what is wrong with this poster.
AI.
That could have been a problem, but I'll give you a hint. Look towards something with the moon.
It's a dinosaur, and it looks like he's eating the damn thing.
That's one way to take it. But here's the thing: they might have not put the dinosaur on the moon because here's why: the dinosaurs in this film are obscured to the point where you can't even tell that they're dinosaurs.
Oh.
Like, this film basically follows, as described from Letterboxd, an Alaskan bush pilot attempts a daring rescue of a stranded researcher deep inside an Arctic cave system thought to be an entrance to the inner Earth, only to find himself battling creatures not of this world. And this film was just very hollow. Like, it was just boring and nothing was going on. Like, and that ending was like, what? Like, there's not even much for me to say. I'm going to say more when I get to my worst movie of the year. Anyway, John Wick.
And wait, let's check the comments before we get to that rant because
Man.
yeah,
You're gonna
there are no Arctic and Arctic colors. He takes the moon, and he takes the moon, and he takes the sun.
Anyway, all right.
All
Go
right.
ahead, John Wick. You're
Number
going to do a
2.
certain movie. What?
Oh, I know what this is gonna be.
Number 2 is a movie that I saw in theaters back in May. And I made it pretty clear that this was not going to be topped as the worst film of the year until several months later, I saw something else that was even worse. Number 2 is the Garfield movie.
Burn it!
Be prepared for an extreme rant.
I'm
A
bracing
Harvey
myself.
Gillian dog movie
Everything about this
featuring
movie
Garfield.
is atrocious. Everything. The story, the screenplay, the horrendous animation, the horrendous voice acting, especially from Chris Pratt as Garfield.
Who was making that casting decision?
I don't know.
Chris Pratt, I like you, but please get a better agent and stop agreeing to every voicing iconic characters. And keep in mind, I actually thought you were okay in the Mario movie, but here, dude, I don't hear every time I heard Garfield talk, I didn't hear Garfield. I just heard Star-Lord or Owen
Emmett.
and Emmett. I
Voice
didn't hear any
acting
of
is atrocious.
that.
The anime, this has some of the worst animation I've ever seen.
Is it worse?
Admittedly,
Is it
it's not as bad as Food Fight or any of the Vinnerbri Quato movies. Also, I'll at least give this movie credit for that. But still,
Also, Samuel L. Jackson, why?
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 Samuel L. Jackson, why?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a good review on Snakes Out Plane. Just be in better movies.
All right. The product placements. Holy shit.
Olive Garden was in this.
Advertise there is a lot of product placements in this movie, including Olive Garden, Walmart, Heinz tomato ketchup, the Sony headphone.
Not surprised there. You there, Sean?
The parody of Netflix called Catflix. You name it. And the fucking pop culture references as well, including that one scene where Garfield mentions the fucking Mission Impossible movies. Oh my god.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Are you okay there?
Yes, I'm okay. Oh,
Just breathe.
I'm trying to. Oh my god. So yeah, if I talk about this movie any further, I'm afraid I'll lose my sanity. Heck, hell, I'm already losing my sanity right now.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
And to think this movie beat Furiosa, I mean, come on.
I know people are going to say this.
Don't even get me started on that.
Movie. Avatar, they took 13 years, and that made a lot of money, right?
Yep. All right. So, folks, That is, folks, all those reasons alone explain why the Garfield movie easily takes the number 2 spot. It would have been number 1. It was originally my number 1, but like I said, several months later, I saw something else even worse. And I think you all know what it is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh yeah, let's yeah. I haven't seen that movie, but I heard that it's a catastrophe.
God or the kid gave that approval.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and let's look at the chat because the right dude's number 2 is Borderlands. So it is not,
And now, number
let's-
1.
Yeah,
Right.
and from Mr. Morbillion, his number 2 is also Borderlands. We really hate it. And now,
Our number 1. Number 1, the time has come.
Right.
Yep.
First cartoon fan has to go first.
All right.
Yeah. You know, we finally made it to our pickle of the year.
Yep. The
Number
absolute
1.
worst. The bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
With every film on this list, I could at least see. I didn't hold something personal to my heart this much. But my number 1, you saw this one coming because I kept talking about this movie all year long. There was no film this year that got me angry, insulted, with how much I despise every single minute. And this movie is tied with the Rodfellows movie as the worst movie I have seen in my life, as well as this decade. My number 1 worst, you knew that is drumroll
Saving
please.
Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Chick movie. Oh.
Oh.
The
Guys.
film I refuse to even acknowledge exists. Which is a little joke I'm going to do, but I'm not going to file all of it away.
Oh.
Guys, well, I didn't think that this movie would have made me angry as I did when watching this. This movie is a humongous disgrace to everything that made the first Megamind movie such an icon and made it the underrated gem that it was. Everything about this sequel that you loved about the first movie is shattered to pieces. I could talk about the horrendous animation because it was, but then again, it was. But even if it was made for TV, this looks awful. Like how's the voice acting? Not very good, honestly. But that's nothing compared to what they did towards the characters. Because my God, how they butchered every single character that we know and love from the first movie, especially Megamind. Oh my God!
How they massacred our boy.
Yeah.
My boy.
Remember the intelligent and charismatic Megamind that we knew in the first movie?
Look what Fadmaster put in the live chat.
Oh yeah.
I'll
The
get to
only
that.
good
I'll get
thing
to that.
about the movie.
I'll get to that in a moment. All right. Because oh my God, they reduced this character to the point where he doesn't care about Minion, and yes, I'm calling it Minion. And the way that he can't even perform a toaster, and that's not even getting to the way they retcon certain things from the first movie. Like the Syndicate thing itself was already a huge retcon because wasn't it in the first movie that it was about Megamind's loneliness?
Yes, like Shrek.
Apparently, we now knew that he had a team, and oh my God, not only are the Doom Syndicate themselves lame, but everything about them is awful. And not just how Megamind could have easily gotten rid of his problem if he. I need to show this clip to exemplify this, because there's no way I could let this slide. Time for some, because no one else could have said it better than I ever did. Ready?
Megamind resorts to getting all the bitch guys with the dehydration gun. So who gets it on these guys but not the Doom Syndicate? Oh,
How do I stop 4 villains at once? Shoot them with the dehydration gun!
With the gun! I feel like I'm losing my
Goddamn mind! This is so fucking shitty! I can't take it!
with the fucking dehydration gun.
It is the easiest solution in the whole damn world! What the fuck is your problem?
And let's not forget the classic line: "How do you do, fellow kid?"
Kids!
Schaefer Liz's video was a bona fide masterpiece. If you have not seen it, please go do so.
It's right. I have it on the Mega Mind on
Schaefer Liz is
DVD.
actually good.
Mm-hmm.
We like him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the movie was not funny whatsoever. I didn't laugh a single time in this movie, and all this movie did was to make a huge mockery of everything that made it the underrated 2010 classic, and destroyed it in every single conceivable fashion. It was so bad that I actually made an apology to Surge of Mania for being a sequel that destroys everything that made the first film good. It made me apologize for the Adventures of Buck Wild for being a terrible straight-to-streaming sequel because, hey, at least they didn't destroy everything that made Ice Age what it was. Ice Age already just destroyed itself. It made me apologize for Madam Web earlier on for calling it the worst movie of 2024 because this movie made Madam Web look like an Oscar-worthy, and it made me apologize for Home for calling it the worst thing DreamWorks has ever released. Because my God, this is not just the worst movie DreamWorks has ever released, and not only you are so lucky that the Wild Robot came out.
Exactly.
I have to see it.
They really needed that movie this year because between this and especially Kung Fu Panda 4, DreamWorks has had it rough.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm worried that it's not going to get much better in the next few years.
Yeah.
I hope they get things figured out over there.
But this is without question on par with the Rod Pels movie as the worst movie I have ever seen of not just this decade, but of all time. If there's a movie in the next few years that managed to make this movie look like The Lion King comparison, I'm going to lose it. So yeah, Megamind vs. the Duplicate is my number one worst movie of the 2020 decade.
And let this movie burn in hell.
No, it doesn't.
I despise everything about this movie with a burning passion. And I'm so glad that no movie this year came close to it. Even if I hated Borderlands. And now for Rex.
All right. Now, to give it a bit of backstory, there was a lot of stuff that I went through this year. There was that drama, that's putting lightly, but I had to say goodbye to my grandmother on my mother's side.
Sorry to hear it, man.
And for context a bit, she had dementia, and last year, and in 2023, I was helping her. And then before we moved her into in some of 2024, I was helping her before we moved into assisted living. And then when she passed away, and then she later passed away back in August. Then there was I saw through a lot of movies that were bad, but they didn't offend me on a personal level, or they didn't betray me, like how I would feel with some movies. This movie, it felt personal to me. My number one worst movie of 2024 is The Front Room. The Front Room basically follows this married couple. They have a new child in their family, but then the husband is white and the wife is black. But then the racist grandmother of the white husband moves in and begins torturing the lady, which this film was just mean-spirited and gross. I get this lady is a villain, but I did not need to see the bodily fluids.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And it didn't and the ending was just baffling. this film felt like a big fat middle finger to me because, you know, I had to take because my grandmother on my mother's side, she was awesome. She was there for everything. And so it felt weird, like, you know, that she's gone now. And this film came along and it felt like a big fat middle finger. Like, ugh. And here's what's even more infuriating. These films were directed by these, first of all, like something I should note. This film has two directors, and they're the brothers of Robert Eggers. Like, and I'm like, I mean, they don't have any other credits, but like, you should just let your older brothers stick with the films. And this is an A24 film. Okay, I'll admit, I'm not the biggest A24 fan, but not saying that I hate A24. There are some movies I like this year. Like, there's one of my best lists this year, and I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. And there are some films, and I actually like Bodies. Like, but here's the thing. I have massive respect for A24. I respect what they stand for. Like, giving their filmmakers creative freedom. And heck, there are even films like where, let's say I was not the biggest fan of. I could appreciate what they were trying to do and their ambition. Here, that was not the case. When you make me lose faith in a studio like A24, that's not a good sign. So yeah, that's why The Front Room is my worst movie of 2024.
Oh boy. My number one worst film of the year. I thought the Garfield movie was not going to be beaten as the worst movie I saw in 2024. But I saw something even worse 7 months later. I saw this movie on HBO Max last week.
I know which one.
My number one. And this movie is so bad that it made me apologize to the Garfield movie.
Which, how is that even possible?
I know. This was the movie that I got my special gold variant of the Burn in Hell Award certificate. My number one worst film of 2024 is Joker.
More like Joker filler-a-do.
Yeah.
I got one. Joker filling these nuts.
Joker filler-a-doo-doo.
Oh, don't worry. It's Mr. Morbillion.
You
For the minute.
more
Don't worry. He's not the real date.
Folks, I could go this movie. No film this year made me more angry and tested my patience the way this piece of shit did. There is nothing good about this atrocity at all. This movie completely destroyed everything that made the first Joker movie so good.
Right. As I pointed out earlier. Well said, Smoking Wrecker.
To all the people who were hyped for Joker 2, you were all hyped for nothing.
It was just a bad joke.
The story?
The Joker 2, not that line.
The story is horrible. The screenplay is absolutely awful. The acting is fucking atrocious as well. Joaquin Phoenix, why?
I heard the director secluded himself on a ranch when the movie came out.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
Hell, I didn't see it. I was at a friend's wedding during that weekend.
Lady Gaga was also atrocious as Harley Quinn.
Yeah, she couldn't hold a candle to Margot Robbie.
Exactly.
She ain't no Margot Robbie.
That's an insult to Margot Robbie.
And thankfully, we got a better version of Harley Quinn this year in Cape Crusader. I mean,
I didn't
people
watch
got
that.
upset that she was race swapped, which was not a big deal to me because, you know, her race is not a crucial trait of the character. Like, and it actually worked because this version, she was silly and quirky when she was a therapist, but when she was Harley Quinn, she was all dark and serious.
I didn't watch that series.
Well,
It's pretty good.
right.
No.
All right.
Every single musical number in this movie was horrendous and served no purpose to the story.
If
Which
you can
negates
even
the
call
whole point
those
of
musical
musicals.
numbers.
What was the
And
point
then
of this movie being a fucking musical?
It's just a jukebox musical, apparently.
When
Yeah.
the Sing movies are better, when the Sing movies and Happy
cinematography?
Feet are better jukebox
Absolute
musicals.
horseshit.
Strange
editing.
is a better musical.
Also
than Joker
atrocious.
2.
Mhm.
The pacing, oh my god. This movie is 2 hours and 18 minutes. And it felt like 5 fucking hours. Like, seriously. It took me 2 days to finish this movie.
Dang.
Damn.
No joke. It took me 2 days just to finish this movie.
Wow.
And let's get to the worst scene of the entire film.
Oh no.
The fucking ending.
The motherfucking ending.
Oh jeez.
I'm not gonna bother raging at that part. It's
It was just a bad joke.
yeah.
There was no Joker. Then what was the point then?
What was the fucking point?
Everyone's a screw you to Hollywood, I guess. But
Like the movie wasn't really that great. Like it was just kind of a mixed bag. But when I saw the ending, I was like, yeah, that ending practically killed the movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna get to my overall thoughts because I really don't want to talk about this movie anymore. The more I talk about this film, the more I'm gonna get even more enraged. So bottom line, Joker Folie à Deux is not just the worst movie. So Joker Folie à Deux is a huge spit in the face to the original 2019 film. And that, folks, is why Joker Folie à Deux is my choice for the worst movie I saw in 2024.
And another reason for why certain
Not just
sequels
that,
should not exist.
But as of right now, it's currently in competition with Space Jam: A New Legacy as the worst movie I have seen this decade.
Oof.
Ouch.
And one of the worst movies I have ever seen, period.
Dang.
Fuck everything about this movie. I hate this movie with a burning passion.
For me, it was SpongeBob saying Bikini Bottom.
I'm done.
Oh, hey, yo, Ethan, look at what I put in the private chat.
All right.
And let's go into the comments because Mr. More Billions number 1 is Megamind 2, and the Right Dude's number 1 is The Crow. And with that,
Shoot them with the dehydration gun!
and that,
How do you do, fellow?
Clever
kids?
girl.
and with that, it's done.
Yeah,
The rant,
it was not.
Oh boy.
the rants, the rage, we finally got out of torture. Now we can
All right.
finally rest up and easy.
Yep.
And thank you everyone for enduring our suffering. Because if you love seeing us suffer, prepare for us to see us suffer in the future.
All right.
And now
We can do it.
More anger in
Including
2020.
Happy New Year,
potential
everyone.
worst films of the decade so far list on my channel.
Yep. And stay tuned because in a couple of days we'll be doing the best films of 2024.
Yes!
Finally.
All right.
We're, where we can finally celebrate some good movies that actually made 2024 bearable for us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna
And now
go
we
ahead
can-
and leave now. See you
And
later.
now,
See
see
ya.
you later.
All right, see ya.
And now we can finally put these disasters behind us and move on to a brighter 2024.
Mhm.
Thank you all so
2025.
much for watching. We'll see you in a couple of days when we do the best of the year list. Adios.
See you later.
Bye later.
Bye.
Bye.